Welcome, everybody. Welcome to our Tactical Tuesday. We're having a little bit of technical difficulties here, and so that's why we're starting a few minutes late. Facebook has changed a few things, and long story short, we're live. I think we're here. So we have figured things out, and tonight, guys, is going to be a little different than anything we have done before. Okay, so you've probably watched some of our Facebook lives before our Tactical Tuesdays. We started this way back in, I think, June of 2019. July of 2019 was our first one, which is almost 4 years ago now. And every week we've been coming to you, giving investing tips, giving advice, helping you with problems, all of that sort of thing. Guys, tonight is the first time we're going to do something a little different. Tonight is the first time we are going to actually share an opportunity with you, something that you can invest alongside us with. And that kind of goes along the whole theme that we're doing this month of taking action April. We want you guys to be taking action this month. Do something this month. And so we wanted to give you an opportunity to do that. And, we started this month out kind of with what stops people, what holds people back, what are all the things that, kind of stop people from investing. We've shared a lot of information this month so that you can hopefully start taking some action. There's a lot of fear in the market. There's a lot of fear in Canada. There's high interest rates. There's well-known investment companies that have gone out of business or declared bankruptcy, and people have lost lots of money. All of these things happening, guys, kind of starts to put bad taste in our mouth, to say it lightly. And so what I wanted to go through tonight is something that we've never done before. And I wanted to share with you, there's two things we're doing tonight, guys. Number one, we're going to share with you an opportunity where you can invest alongside us at Investor Life, alongside me, alongside Tiffany. But second to that, and this is the important point I want you guys to listen to tonight, is that for those of you that are raising capital, for those of you that are looking for investors, pay attention to the information we're sharing tonight so that you can duplicate it. You can do the same thing. You can share the same type of information. Because what I'm going to say is we're going to cover a lot of the questions that people have if they're looking to invest in something. And so this is kind of a template for you to follow if you're raising capital, if you're wanting investors to invest with you or your company or whatever it is, so that you can buy as much real estate as you want to buy. Okay? So those are the two avenues we're going to kind of explore tonight. All right? Okay, and I see it's working. We're working through some technical issues. Yes, Jules, we are live here in Facebook now. So welcome everybody. Ermel from Moncton, Craig from Edmonton, Greg from Kitchener. Kitchener, you're out in Kitchener, eh, Greg? Chris from Sunderland, Ontario, Robin from Edmonton, Edwin from Brampton. So from all across the country, welcome everybody. Okay. Hopefully you can hear me okay. Hopefully it's working. Let's get started. Tonight we are talking about an investment opportunity where you can invest alongside us. And the first place we want to start, and I think the most important place that any person that is trying to raise capital should start, is who are you? What is your track record? What do you bring to the table? And so the reason I'm going to be sharing some of this stuff tonight, guys, is not to toot my own horn or anything like that. But here is what I wanted to share with you. If you are looking to invest alongside us, with us, this is what you're getting alongside that, okay? So number one, we've been investing for 20 plus years. We started back in 2004 learning about real estate. A lot of you guys have heard our story, and so I'm not going to go deep into it tonight, but that's kind of when we started educating ourselves, learning, raising capital. That kind of forwarded on to 2005, 2006, 2007, where we ended up buying 100 plus properties in our market, which is the Edmonton market. That's where we live. We were the working partners in a lot of those relationships. We bought over 100 properties. We did that using only $27,000 of our own money. And quite frankly, 26,500 of that was on one property and 500 was on another. And so vast majority of the properties we bought that using other people's money. So what does that mean? It means investors invested with us. They invested in our company. They gave us the money so that then we could go and invest it for them. Okay. And that's what joint venturing is all about. You guys know that. We've talked about it 100 times, millions of times. All our boot camps, that's what we talk about. And that's what, did you lose me? Did you lose me? Craig says, oh no, we lost you. I'll give you a second, guys. Just let me know if you can hear me okay. I'm hoping so. Throw it in the chat. You're good. Okay, perfect. We're good. All right, thank you guys for helping out. Okay, so here we go. Where was I? Anyways, we bought 100 plus properties, okay? With some of our own money. Vast majority was other people's money. They invested with us. They trusted us. Okay, we invested it. Here's the deal. Yes, we have never lost a dime of our investors' money. And we have always given the returns they were expecting. Now, here's the key. Some of those returns took longer than expected. Okay, it's not all rainbows and unicorns. All right, there's ups and downs in markets. We learned a lot of hard lessons. We learned a lot of, we had a lot of wins, but we had a lot of losses as well, because not only did the market go up, but the market also went down. Things happen in real estate investment. Things that are unexpected can happen in real estate investment. But we've never lost a dime of our investors' money. Sometimes it took longer to give them the returns that we originally promised. That's life. That's the way it works. Yes, we have invested in Alberta. That has been our market since we started. Do I wish I would have invested in other markets? Looking back now, absolutely. With that said, do we know this market really well? Yes, we do. Yes, we have always believed it is who you invest with, who you invest in, that is extremely important. In fact, more important than the numbers of the investment. I would rather invest somebody that I feel will work their tail off to make sure that my investment is successful. I would rather work with them and have a less return than work with somebody who might not be willing to do everything involved, might give up too soon, and maybe promised a higher return. Throw it in the chat, guys. Who of those two options would you rather invest with? And I'm assuming most of you would rather invest with a lower possible return, but somebody you feel confident about. Would you agree with me? Put it in the chat. I haven't done this on Facebook Live for a long time. We've always used StreamYard, so this is a little different. I'm getting used to it, guys. Okay, another yes. Yes, we are, in this particular deal that we're going to share tonight, we are equity partners in this deal. So we are not just investing our money, but we are equity partners. So what does that mean? It means that we have a vested interest in making sure that our investors' money, the ones that invest with us, our investors' money is also taken care of, okay? If the project doesn't succeed, if the project is not doing well, we don't succeed. So we have a vested interest in making sure it succeeds. Yes, we have experience with 100 plus properties of our own, but we also have experience in dealing with thousands of transactions. When I was a realtor, investment-focused realtor, dealing with our clients, a lot of negotiations happened, guys. We learned so much through that whole process. And so that experience is also brought to the table. So that's a little bit about who we are. A lot of you guys know who we are, but I wanted to share with you a little bit about us. Who are we investing with in this particular deal? Well, our partners in this deal are, and you guys know them, our Ignited members, Ermel and Rachel Gaubout. They are in New Brunswick. They're bringing the expertise of multifamily investing. And these are our Ignited members that have been with us for quite some time, number of years now. They've learned the strategies. They have actually gone on to purchase over 300 plus doors on their own. Are they doing well in real estate? Absolutely. They're full-time real estate investors now. So we bring the experience of having them on our team. Who else? We have Craig and Lisa. Craig, you've been commenting here. I see you there. Craig and Lisa O'Casey here from Edmonton. I've known Craig for 35 plus years, a good friend of mine, and he owns a construction company, a concrete company. He's bringing his construction experience, the renovation experience that we need to this deal. He's going to be doing the hands-on work and taking care of that side of things. So this is kind of a power team, guys, and that's what you're looking for if you're looking to invest in something. And so those are the people that we're investing with. Why did we pick this particular market? And we're going to be getting into a lot of different things here, guys. We're going to go over why the properties that we're purchasing are in Drumheller, Alberta. So we're going to talk about why Drumheller, why Alberta. We're going to talk about why these particular properties and what kind of numbers can instill confidence for you as an investor. And so let's talk a little bit about the market, okay? So the market that we're investing in, and I have to figure out how to share my screen because I have a ton of stuff planned to share with you guys tonight. And because I'm not on StreamYard, I haven't shared my screen through Facebook Live in a long time. So I have to figure out how to do that. And we are flying by the seat of our pants right now, guys. And that's what happens in real estate investing. So let's see here. How can I share my screen? I don't see how that's an option, unfortunately. And I had a lot of stuff planned to share with you guys. Anyways. Interactivity. Okay, I don't see an option to share my screen. So we are going to do things maybe a little different and not share my screen. I'm just going to have to tell you what is on my screen. Okay, why Drumheller? Number one, Drumheller is a town, for those of you that don't know. You might be in another part of the country, don't know where it is. It's about a 3-hour or so drive from Edmonton, an hour and 45 minutes from Red Deer, about an hour and a half from Calgary. Okay, it's kind of in the southeastern part of Alberta. If you've never heard of Drumheller before, that's where we have actually, I think, the world's largest dinosaur museum. It's called the Royal Tyrrell Museum. I remember going there in grade 4 as a kid. It's our field trip went there from school. Super cool place. They have a ton of dinosaur bones there. More has been found there than I think anywhere else in Canada and probably close to anywhere else in the world. And so it's super cool area. So this little town, it's a town of about 8,000 people or so. It's a smaller town. Massive tourist attractions there. They get close to 500,000 visitors. So imagine a town of 8,000 people getting 500,000 visitors a year just to the museum, let alone all the other attractions that are there in that town. So that's a little bit about the town. Now, for us as investors, what does that mean for us as investors? Okay, so I was going to share my screen. I don't know how to do that now. So what I'm going to do is just kind of share some highlights with you, okay? Some highlights as to the beauty of this. And this is what kind of got me, is that the town of Drumheller last year in 2023 came out with what they call a Drumheller housing strategy. Now think about this, guys. Why does a town of 8,000 people need a housing strategy? Well, they need it because there's issues in that town as far as housing are concerned. There's not enough. The town is growing. What happens when the population grows, guys? The population is going up. There's not enough housing. What happens to the rents? What happens to the prices, et cetera, et cetera? We get the picture. So they came up with a housing strategy, and this was a report. It's 132 pages long, guys. I've kind of gone through the vast majority of it, and I've kind of taken out the highlights, and that's what I wanted to share with you tonight. What are the highlights of this housing strategy for this particular market? Let's go through it. Number one, and I wish I could share this with you and just show it to you, but unfortunately, for some reason, I can't. On page 6 of the housing strategy, it says this: the population of the Drumheller Valley is projected to grow by approximately 1,000 residents in the next 10 years. Now, When we originally see that, we say, okay, well, 1,000 residents, big deal. Especially for those of us that are in Vancouver or Toronto or Edmonton or Calgary or any of these markets. What's 1,000? Well, this is a town of 8,000 that's going to grow to roughly 9. That's a big difference. That's a 12-13% increase that is projected. Okay, so what happens when that population grows? Well, they're going to need housing. Now, the issue, and I'm going to be sharing a couple more stats with you as we go along here, the issue is that they, for one, don't have enough now, but with the population growing, it's going to even become more and more difficult. The vacancy rate is extremely low. CMHC actually puts it at 2%. And so it's a very low vacancy rate. What does that mean for us as investors? That means an increase in cash flow. That means very low to nothing as far as vacancy in our properties, in our buildings. So that's important. That's very important. Let's look at something else. And I was going to share this with you. I can't, but we're going to tell you about it. One of the stats that they have in there is that 71% of the people in that town own their properties. 29% of the people rent. Now, what's the Canadian average? The Canadian average is roughly 50-50. 50% rent, 50% own. That's kind of the rough average throughout our country. In this town, only 29% are renting. What does that mean for us as investors? That means there is a shortfall in rental accommodation. They need more rental accommodation. Okay, so this is a town that needs more of that, and this is all part of their housing strategy that they are coming up with here in this 132-page report. In fact, one of the stats that they mention here is the core housing need is 1 in 4 households do not have acceptable housing. Think about that. 25% of the people living there do not have acceptable housing, which means they need bigger, whatever it might be. They don't have enough. They don't have the housing that they need. Is that the type of market that we as investors want to be investing in? One that needs to grow, needs units renovated, needs more units brought to the market. Absolutely. So those are some of the highlights. A couple other things. The population, we talked about that growing, a 12% increase in the next 10 years. It doesn't seem like a lot, but there's hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of homes, apartments that are needed over the next 10 years. And the thing about that valley, because it is so, wherever they dig, they find dinosaur bones. What happens then? Well, they have to actually excavate those properly. It takes time. It's much more difficult to build there because of these reasons. And so the existing supply, if we're able to increase that, if we're able to better the existing supply, how valuable is that? It's very, very valuable. Here's some of the barriers. Now, this is what they say in their report, and this is all coming from Drumheller, the town itself, the Drumheller housing strategy. It says the top barriers in this town: rental rates are high, and there is a low vacancy rate, of which does not provide a lot of choice for residents to find a home that meets their needs. That's the number one barrier in this housing strategy that is mentioned. Rental rates are high, there is a low vacancy rate. Okay, what does that mean for us as investors? Rental rates are high. So if we were able to buy a building with lower rental rates and increase them to the market value, do you think that would be good for us as an investor? Absolutely. If we're able to provide more choice because our units are renovated, our units are looking great, is that good for an investor? Absolutely. It's good for the people that live there as well. There's a ton of highlights here, guys, and we don't have the time to go through everything, but these are some of the reasons, and I wish I could have shared my screen with you to show you that, and Crystal, you're saying here there's also a small college in Rosebud just outside of Drumheller. Absolutely. That's a big positive as well. Crystal, you said there's a lot of newer oil and gas activity around Drumheller that is stimulating their local economy. Absolutely. Thank you, Grant or Corrine, for sharing that file. of the Drumheller housing strategy. So have a look through that, guys. You don't have to read every page, but it's going to give you a feel for, here's the deal. If a town is having to come up with a housing strategy, what does that mean for the town? Well, they're wanting it to grow. They're wanting developers to come in. They're wanting the units that are existing to be upgraded to provide better housing for the people that are living there. These are all positives for us as investors. And one of the things that we haven't talked about yet, guys, is the fact that when you're investing in Alberta, you, number one, don't have land transfer tax. Number two, you don't have HST, you only have GST. Number three, our landlord and tenant laws are very landlord friendly. And that's a massive plus. It doesn't take long to get a tenant out of a property if that is necessary, if they're not paying their rent, et cetera, et cetera. So all of these things are very, very valuable for us as investors. And then we focused a little bit more down. Oh, and the other thing I was going to share with you guys is a little bit of stats from the province of Alberta. And you're going to have to take my word for it. But if you go to, I think I just Googled Alberta real estate statistics 2024, and I got a link to the province of Alberta. This is from the Alberta Real Estate Association, Province of Alberta monthly statistics. Gives you a trend of what's been happening in the market. So the Alberta market, there's a couple points that I wanted to share with you. Thank you, Grant. That's amazing. Is number one, the sales that are happening in our market are up 18%. What does that mean? The market is churning. There's activity happening. Guys, these are things that we haven't seen in Alberta for quite some time. You've seen it in BC. You've seen it in Ontario. You've seen it in Atlantic Canada. It's finally starting to hit Alberta here. New listings, get this, new listings are down. The inventory that is available to buy here in Alberta is down by almost 25%, which means we have 25% less inventory than we did this time last year. What does that do to a provincial market? You know the answer to that. You know the answer to that. Supply is less, demand is high. What happens to the market? But here's the key, guys. We've heard about markets going crazy all across the country. But here's the Alberta total residential average price, $497,000. Now that's up 10% from last year. So last year it would have been around $450,000. This year it's just under $500,000. The market is going in the right direction. But is our average residential price over $1 million, close to $2 million? No, it's still very, very affordable for the average Canadian. And that's why we see an influx of people coming towards Alberta now. So it's affordable, but we're just starting on the upward trend. And so that's our macro view, okay? The big view, what's happening in Alberta. We already talked about what's happening in this particular town. And so that is why we are looking to invest in this particular town with these particular buildings. This is a multifamily investment. And I just want to clarify the reason that I'm bringing all of this up tonight, guys, is that we are raising capital to buy this. And I'm going to run through some of the numbers with you so that you have a general idea as how the numbers work. But we're raising capital for this, and all of this stats and all of this stuff that I'm talking about is only to help build the confidence in, if you were to put in 50,000, 100,000, 500,000 or $1 million, whatever the number might be, it's going to build confidence that you're putting your money into somewhere that makes sense, that the people that are running that money, the people that are running that investment, they are going to be able to pay me back. They are going to be able to give me the interest rate that they promised. Why? Because all the fundamentals behind this particular investment make sense. Okay, so that's why we're sharing all of this stuff with you, just to build that confidence. Okay, so we've talked about the market. We've talked about us. We've talked about who's part of this team. What about the properties? I'm going to share I can't share. Darn it. I have a cash flow sheet made up for this, guys. What we will probably do after this is just share a link where you can download all this information if you want. You can look at it. You can peruse through it. I was going to share with you one of our cash flow sheets as well that kind of gives some of the highlights as to what is going on in these particular buildings. So let me bring up my cash flow sheet, and unfortunately I have no clue how to share it here, and I'm just gonna have one last look, but I don't see the option. Okay, so what kind of buildings are we buying? We're buying 129 unit building, 120 unit building. Here's some of the highlights. The current monthly rent, guys, is over $41,000. Our monthly NOI, so this is our net operating income before our financing costs, is over $21,000. So immediately, obviously, the tenants are sitting there. The tenants have been living there. They are paying rents enough for us to cover our money raise, to cover the expenses for this property. So there's huge upside when it comes to the rent that is coming from this property. Here's the other key. We agreed to a purchase price of $3.25 million, but it's currently appraised at $4.4 million in its current status, as is the current status. Now, that gives us over $1 million worth of equity right off the bat. Okay, so that's a huge plus. Now, what are we going to do to these properties to increase this and be able to pay back our investors? Well, we're putting just over 1.1 million into immediate repairs and renovations. That's inside, the exteriors, the interiors. We're upgrading the units as they become vacant. One of our buildings has 3 vacant units right now that are sitting ready to be rented. They just need minor updates. They haven't been rented. And then the rest as they become available through these 2 buildings. So what's our goal? What's our strategy behind this? Well, our strategy behind this is obviously we're having a bridge lender come in. Bridge lender is going to give us 75% of our 3.25 million. Okay, that's 2.4 and change. The rest, the renovation costs, the down payment, all the other purchase costs, we're getting the ESAs done. They've been done. We got an energy audit. We're using CMHC, MLI Select Financing. And so because of that, all of these tests need to be done. We have to make sure that everything is okay. Our broker lender fees, etc. All of that combined, including the $812,000 down payment, comes to $2.3 million. That's our money raise, $2.3 million. We have more than half of that raised already. So the total amount that we're going to be into this property for, with all the renovations and all these suites being done and everything, is going to be 4.7 million, just over 4.7 million. That's what's going to be into the property. Now, our expected appraisal at the end of those renovations is 6.6, which leaves us over $1.5 million of equity into this property. So again, I'm just telling you this. You're not looking at the actual spreadsheet. You're not looking at what our strategy is. You're not looking at all the stuff I wanted to share with you tonight. But what I'm doing here tonight, guys, is just kind of sharing the highlights with you to say, and the purpose of this is not to say, because you're not taking a part in the equity. Okay, if you invest with us, we're going to be giving you an interest rate, and we're going to be giving you a minimum of 10% interest on your money. It's going to be secured against, you're going to be actually investing with me, with my company, which owns multiple pieces of real estate here in Alberta. So you have the security of that. And we're playing 10% plus, depending on how much you invest. So the purpose of sharing our cash flow sheet, the purpose of sharing what our strategy is, the purpose of sharing how the numbers work for us is to then pass on to you the security and the confidence that, you know what, if I invest 100 grand, if I invest 500 grand, whatever the number might be, if I invest my money, if it's $50,000 I invested into this project, am I going to get my money back, number one? And am I going to get the interest that is promised me, number two? And based on the numbers here, guys, we have over $1.5 million worth of room to make sure that everything works for our investors. And here's the thing, I'm going to reiterate. Those that have invested with us before, we have never lost a dime of our investors' money. Why? Number one, because we've made it work. Number two, because sometimes we've been in difficult situations. We've been in down markets. We've been in times of difficulty here in the Alberta market, but we've learned lessons from that. And that is what's the most important thing on this. And we talked about that last week, guys, is that if you're investing with somebody, make sure that they've learned those lessons. Make sure they've been through the ups and downs. Make sure they've been an investor for 20 plus years. Make sure that they have all of these things, because if they do, your security on your investment is significantly higher. We've been in this market. We've been in this market for 20 plus years. All of these things help. Can more units be added to the building? So at this point, Sean and Dre, I'm not sure who's asking that question. No units are going to be added to the buildings, but what is really, really cool is these buildings are currently owned, and this is kind of inside information, but they're currently owned by a big conglomerate of people. And those people are not getting along, not getting stuff done. There's several units in these buildings that are just sitting there ready to be rented, but they're maybe missing a tap. They're maybe missing flooring in a room or two. They're maybe missing just a couple finishing touches, and they've been like that for a long period of time, over a year. What do we need to do to get those places rented? Which increases our rent roll, which increases our NOI, which increases everything, is we just have to do some small renovations, get that done, and then we can get it refinanced. So this is kind of our strategy, guys. It makes a ton of sense, and I wanted to share some more pictures with you. I wanted to share some cash flow sheets with you. I wanted to share the housing strategy from Drumheller and some of the Alberta stats and a little bit about us and all of this stuff on the screen. And unfortunately, StreamYard didn't work for us tonight. So here's what you can do. If you have more questions, or you're thinking, I would like to put a little bit of money into this, I would like to invest something into this particular deal, this is what you do. You go to investorlife.com, that's our website. And I wish I could show you, but I can't. Once you click on there, you have two options that come right on the front screen. Obviously, we offer mentorship into our Ignited program. So if you're looking to get into real estate and not put any money into anything, there's a Start Here button. But you'll also see if I want to invest passively and I don't want to do any of the work, I want to make my money work for me, we have a Start Here button. Click that Start Here button on investorlife.com that you want to invest passively. Fill out the form. There's 4 or 5 questions, and our team will be in touch with you. That's as simple as it is. We will then have a discussion, figure out where we're going, see if there's any room left for your investment. This is filling up fast, guys. We're potentially 100% sold out, but confirmed 100%, we're at about 60% sold out on this. So feel free to get a hold of us, guys. We can tell you more. We can give you more information. I can share you some of this stuff that I was going to share on our live tonight. Wow, Grant. I'm impressed. Well done. Well done. Thank you for sharing that link. Yes, just go to our website, click the Invest Passively. It's on the right-hand side of our website, or if you're on your phone, it'll be the second choice. Click Start Here, fill out the form, and we will be in touch. So there's a little bit of a showdown, guys, a little bit of an information session on if you want to invest alongside us, you want to put your money into something that is in the Alberta market, that is investing with us, with our company, you'll invest alongside us, then this is an option that you have. Okay? And that's about it, guys. That's all I wanted to share with you tonight. Come on here, and this is the whole theme that we've been talking about this month. Taking Action April. Okay? We're in April. There's 7 days left in April. Have you taken action yet? Throw it in the chat if you guys have done something that maybe you've never done before. Maybe you've never, the last 12 months you haven't done, but you did this month because you're taking action, because maybe you're getting over some of the fears that you had, because an opportunity might have been presented to you. I'm going to say this, that I'm taking action in a different way too. This is the first time that we have offered an opportunity that you could invest alongside with us since we opened Fearless. This is me taking action. If I do it, can you do it? That's what this comes down to. I want you guys to take action as well. And so, how can I say that if I don't do it also? And that's why we're doing it here tonight. So there you go, guys. That's a little bit of information about an option that you have. Just go to our website, fill out the form. We'll be in touch. We'll take it from there. April has been amazing, says Craig. We have taken action. We're getting results and creating great partnerships. Mandeep, negotiate a rent increase with a tenant. That is taking action, Mandeep. Well done. Brian, attaboy. Attaboy you, Brian. I see everything that you are doing, taking action as well. So well done. Well done. I know many of our Ignited members have been taking action as we go through this month. So that's really encouraging. Okay, guys, we're going to end it there. A nice, easy, early evening. And our Ignited members, top of the hour, in about 18 minutes or so, we're going to see you over in our laser session on Zoom. We're going to answer any questions that you might have. And make sure that you guys, our Ignited members, are taking action as well. All right. Have a great evening, everybody. We'll see you next week.